Okay. Chalo. So now let's go to the self-description test, right? In the self-description test, it's a very, very simple test, but it has a very serious impact on what will be, how the interview will be conducted. You just get 15 minutes to write this, so you don't have to think much. And most importantly, what you should understand is you would have already prepared for this. You would have already worked on in this area. So what are you supposed to write? You're supposed to write 5 paragraphs. 5 paragraphs about the following things. What your parents think of you. When you say what your parents think of you, or what anybody thinks of you, you should be very candid in saying how they look at you. If you talk to a parent might say, my child is very prankish, or he plays a lot of pranks, he's very cheerful, or he might say he's very serious with his studies. Because what you were when you were a 5-year-old is different from what you are today. And when you say what your parents think of you, you are talking about what your parents think of you as of today. So the best way to find out what your parents think of you, because you can find this answer well in advance, is to talk to them, is to ask them what they think of you. So it can be in a casual manner, it can be in a formal manner or an informal manner. What your dad thinks of you will be different from what your mom thinks of you, right? Your mom will be thinking, my daughter or my son is very helpful in the kitchen. He is very considerate. He is very calculated in the sense when he goes to the market, he would come back and give me a full account of how he spent the money I gave him. Whatever the thing. So you have to use this opportunity to project your character to the guy who's reading this. Build this whole thing with that attitude, with that approach. I'm not asking you to tell lies, but whatever qualities that are there in you, which you want to project, which you want to talk about, you should use this. So second paragraph is about what the teachers think of you. Now, teachers have a totally different approach when they think about you. And when you're looking at most of these situations, you will talk only about what has happened in the recent past. You will only say what the teachers of the last semester or last year think of you. You're not talking about your teachers of your school, your teachers of your junior college. You don't even remember them. But they also must have thought something nice about you, something positive about you, something which you can use to your advantage, right? And what do friends and colleagues think? Now, colleagues is for somebody who's working, but otherwise you can probably wait at saying what your friends think of you. Now, when you talk of friends, they do not have to be only your college friends. They can be friends outside your college. They can be friends who are friends with you right from your childhood days. There could be a friend who might talk about how considerate or how pet loving you are, how concerned you are about somebody who is not keeping well. There are a lot of these characteristics which will come and stand out, right? And the most important is, what do you think of yourself? What do you think of it? I mean, there are people who are very, very strict about themselves. They say, let's say if they're very strict about doing exercise daily, and if they don't do exercise for one day, they will think, oh, I am a failure. I didn't go out for exercise for one day this month. So that is one very critical way of thinking. So whatever you think of yourself, you should write here. But again, I'm telling you, use this as a lever, an advantage, a platform to project yourself. Don't think कि ऐसे मैं भर रहा हूँ ये हो जाएगा, right? All these things will get linked to the psychological tests that you've undergone, the WAT, the TAT, the SRT, and all that. So a comprehensive picture will be formed. I mean, there's no need to tell lies or exaggerate anything. That I'll talk about next. And the last thing is, what kind of person that you would like to become? In the sense, what kind of improvements you want to make in your own life? Again, very, very important. Like I told you yesterday, if you understand what is lacking in me, I will like to make improvements in that area. Let us say I am a person who cannot befriend people very soon, who can't make friends very quickly. Like I take time to make friends, let's say. So what do I want to improve? This is the weakness I have. And I also know that friends play a very important part. So what do I want to do? I want to change myself or improve myself to make friends more easily. That means I am not socially very adaptable, but I want to be socially adaptable. Let's say there is a quality in you which is probably not very good. Let's say my power of expression is not very good. Let us say my power of expression is not good. So what kind of improvement will I like to see in myself? I would like to see my power of impression becoming extraordinary. I would like to see myself communicating in a very, very lucid or very, very clear manner. So you have to get used to identifying what weaknesses you have, which all of us are aware. I mean, or do all this in relation to the officer-like qualities that we have learned. In the officer-like qualities, let's say there is one or two qualities which you think you really need to improve. You can probably talk about it. There is nothing wrong in that. And you should be very sure that yahan pe meri kami hai, I have a shortcoming here and I need to improve here, right? Okay. So this is about self-description. A few tips. Go to the next slide, please. Next slide, Anurag. Yeah. Okay. Like I've just mentioned to you, at every given opportunity, you have to project yourself and your qualities. You have to project. दिखेगा नहीं और दिखाना चाहिए. झूठ मत बोलो, गलत मत बोलो. I'm saying be accurate and don't exaggerate, but show your qualities. Next is, if you have some bad qualities, उसके बारे में be realistic, but do not be very explicit. बहुत ज़्यादा उसके बारे में गौर करने का जरूरत नहीं है. If you have a bad quality, which you think is a bad quality, which you want to improve, you can mention it, but you do not have to be very, very explicit, or you don't have, if you want to just say it and leave it, say it and leave it. Don't go ahead, keep talking about it again and again, right? Yeah. Be legible and clear, because you have just 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is not a lot of time to write all this. But if you're practiced, if you're prepared, if you can use the correct words, you can go ahead and write this. And practice taking this test or writing this test, like I told you. And a lot of interview questions will arise from this document. Whatever you ask, whatever you will be asked, will come from this document, because the interviewing officer is interviewing one after another, continuously is interviewing people. He does not have new questions to ask, but he will certainly base his questions based on whatever you are going to say, right? Okay.